What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Home Rehabs. I guess that's what we're doing now. We've got some things to figure out in this video, guys, and I'm not really sure what direction I need to be going with it. Well, to help us out, we got old Nick out here. Good Lord, Nick. You cutting fast enough?
Yeah, I want to get done as fast as possible.
Are you having fun?
Kinda.
You said before you like cutting down trees. he's doing it to it, man.
Yeah, that was tough, like,
Yeah, well, you're good at it. I'll tell you what, we need to get a sawzall or something out here for you.
that would be pretty.
That'd make it a little easier.
Yeah.
But these are the ones I'm curious to see Nick cut down right here. These he cut them down before. The damn things just keep coming back. You know what I mean? We need to throw something on here, but we're trying to clean up the property because we have some big decisions to make here in the very near future. Nick, I'm gonna let you get back to this. I'll leave you be.
All right.
And thank you for coming out here and helping out.
Yeah, of course.
We got some big decisions to make regarding my uncle's / my grandparents' house. I haven't said this before because it's not something that I wanted to be publicly known. But this house, since I got it like 2.5 years ago when my uncle passed away, it has never been insured. All right, I have no insurance on this property, meaning if it fell over when the tree limb fell on the roof and damaged it, any damage to this house is not covered. I have absolutely no insurance on this property at all, and I didn't want anybody to know that. So we're in a bit of a predicament now where we have to get something figured out, which means I've only got 2 options right now currently. And this is what's making this so hard, because you guys know how attached I am to this house, how much I love this property. I came up here after selling the 57 Chevy and I thought, all right, we've got 35 grand that we can play with to remodel this house. And I'm naive. I've never had to pay someone to do remodeling work before, and I sure as hell am not I'm not the guy that's going to come out here and do the remodel myself. Okay, I don't know anything about this stuff. So I called up several companies locally, and I was very disappointed when pretty much all of them didn't even want to come out. They weren't even interested. They never even saw the house. They just didn't want to come out. They were too busy. They're booked up till the middle of next year, and some of them said they would call me back, and then they just didn't. I was only able to get one company to come out here. He came out, and I'll tell you something. I mean, the dude has like a 3.2 star rating, which isn't great, but you know, he's the only guy that was willing to come out. 3.2 star rating. He came out here, he did a quick walk around, and I'm gonna tell you guys something. He took one look at the property, he did a little walk around over here, walk around to the side, and he came back pretty much immediately, walked through the interior real quick, and he gave me a price that completely shattered any hopes that I had of being able to save this property. He told me the cost to rehab this house was $80,000. 80 grand. That's a tad bit more than the $35,000 that I had from the sale of the 57 Chevy. $80,000. So I did some research of my own. I started looking at comps in the neighborhood. There's a lot of similar houses. This is called a shotgun house. I was not aware of that. He informed me of that. This is a shotgun house, meaning it's a straight through. 80,000. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. And this is really bad news, guys, because I don't have $80,000 laying around to do a full renovation on this house. So I looked around for some comps in the area, and what I found was not promising. I found a lot of houses similar in square footage. This one's about 950 square feet, built in 1912, back when wood was actually wood, you know? That's the only reason the house is still standing today, is because of how good the lumber was back then. But, man, I'm just heartbroken right now because I think I know the direction I'm gonna have to go with this, and it breaks my heart. I've already talked to my mother about it, and she told me she's trying not to cry. I didn't know she was at work when I broke the news to her, but she was at work. $80,000. So in good condition out here in this neighborhood. This is not a great neighborhood. It's not a horrible neighborhood, but it's definitely not a great neighborhood. Comparable houses out here are going for $65,000, maybe $70,000. Well, you know, you have to remember I put a roof on this house when I first got it because the roof was completely destroyed. That cost me somewhere between $20,000 and $24,000. And I put windows, had all new windows put in. That cost me $8,000. I ended up having to put a water heater in earlier this year. That cost me, I don't know, $600, $600 or $800. And there's been some miscellaneous repairs here and there. When we first got the place, the sewer lines were clogged up and everything. So what I'm trying to say is if I put 80 grand into the house and then you count the 20, let's call it 20,000 I paid for the roof, okay? You're talking about 100. You're talking about 8 grand for windows. That's $108,000 at a minimum, $108,000 into a house that on its best day in the current market probably could not break $70,000. I don't know about you, but to me it's a bad investment, and we're not done. $108,000 to rehab the house, but we have another issue, and this is the fence up front here. This fence my uncle put up, and I hate to see it go. This fence has been here for a lot of years, guys. There's no panel. None of it is straight. All right, my uncle, kind of like me, he's not a contractor, not a construction guy. You know what I mean? So he did the best he could putting this fence up. And I'm going to tell you, like, even though it's crooked and things don't quite line up right, that's all right, man. He did good, man. My uncle built this fence himself. He did it himself. Put the posts in the ground. I think he even cemented them. Yeah, these are cemented into the ground, so good for him. You know, he put it together. He painted it himself. He put a nice little gate here. There's another gate up front. In its day, it was actually a pretty good looking fence. Unfortunately, today we've got broken pieces everywhere. And while this part of the fence doesn't look too bad, once you get up towards the very front of the house, it's completely rotten. Completely rotten. So my insurance company will not insure this house for a multitude of reasons. One of them, believe it or not, is the fence. A fence? Because the fence is in disrepair, they won't insure it. I don't know what the fence has to do with anything, but they won't insure it for that. The next reason they won't insure it is because we have damage to the soffit. We have fascia on the peak of the house there, but once you get over here, there's no more fascia. It's just not there. Then we have some other issues with some wiring. There needs to be some repairs or something done to all of this. I don't really know what it is, but there's some work that's got to be done to this as well. Then we have the back porch, which is completely rotted and collapsed. I mean, it's in horrible shape. Take a look. I mean, we've got boards just completely missing. So the insurance company also will not insure it because of this. And of course, you've got this. It's angled instead of being flush. This comes down like this. And I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but this beam here, you see how it bows? It's like a smiley face, right? That's because all of this, everything on this end of the house has sank inches, just inches. It's all kind of sank down. So we got issues with that too. What I'm trying to say is we haven't even gotten to the interior of the house yet. And this place is in pretty bad shape, guys. I didn't realize how bad it was until the guy came out. And like I said, he didn't spend a lot of time here. And honestly, he didn't even seem all that interested with doing the work. If I'm being completely honest, I think he just assumed, based on the condition of the house, that there was no way I'd be able to afford it. And he walked away. Now, here's the thing. He is right. I can't afford it. I don't have $80,000. And I started thinking about all the things that I could sell to come up with the money. And I have enough liquidity that I could move some things around. I could come up with 80 grand if I needed to. In fact, I mean, I already have $35,000 from the sale of the 57 Chevy. So, I mean, we're really halfway there. But again, how much is saving your family's home worth, especially when it's in the not so best of neighborhoods, especially when, if at the end of the day something happened to me or something happened and I needed to liquidate quickly, if I needed to move some things because I needed money, I don't know, a family emergency, something happened to me or my fiance or Nick or something, you know, we were like, we need to move stuff out. Well, we're going to lose our asses on that. That's a horrible investment. Now I make bad investments all the time on this channel, especially when it comes to buying and fixing and selling cars. I tend to lose money more often than not. But this is a much bigger deal, guys. This isn't losing a few $1,000s here and there on a car. We're talking all in somewhere. And this doesn't even guarantee, this isn't a locked in price. We're saying 80 grand is what should rehab this house, which puts us at a total investment of around $110,000, and it could still go up from there. We could be sitting at $115,000, $120,000 on this house. It doesn't make sense. That is, you know, it's one thing to lose $5,000 or $10,000 on an investment. It's not good, but that's one thing. But when you're talking losing $40,000, I'm going to tell you this. My grandparents, my uncle, as much as they love this house, and this was really the only thing they ever really owned in life, they would never want to see me $40,000 upside down trying to save this old house. At the end of the day, they're not with us anymore. May they all rest in peace. This house is now, it's now my project, kind of my passion. And I am at a point where I don't know what to do with it. I will say this, selling the house is one of the last times my uncle was lucid. He, I don't know why they did this, but the nursing home that he was in apparently told him that they were going to take his house and they were going to sell it. All right, he was on Medicaid. And apparently, you know, on Medicaid, if you're going to hospice situation or something like this, the state takes your house and they sell it. And they use that money to help fund the medical bills. Well, for whatever reason, they decided it'd be a good idea to tell him that, as he's, you know, end-stage renal failure, dementia. They thought it was a good idea to let him know that they were going to take his house and sell it. And I made him a promise shortly before he passed away. He looked at me and my mother and he said, "I guess they're going to take my house." Broke my fucking heart, man. You know, I haven't made all the best decisions in life. I haven't always been the best person, the best man, the best husband, best friend. But I've tried real hard over all these years to change. I really have. And I've changed a lot. And I made my uncle a promise that day. I looked dead in his eyes and I told him, I said, "Don't worry about that. I promise you, I won't let that happen." And I didn't. I saved his house. I got it from the state. I went through a lot of hoops. I jumped through a lot of rigmarole to get it done. I even had to hire somebody in Indianapolis to help us navigate the system to get this done. But I ended up buying this house from the state, and he never lost his home. Unfortunately, I hoped maybe someday he would come home, as probably me just being naive, and then he died. I thought he was doing so well, and then he died. I kept my promise to him, okay? As long as he was living, I saved his house from being taken. Unfortunately, the house is in such disrepair, it doesn't make any sense to fix it. Here's the problem that I have. I know most of you are probably saying, "Oh, it's just a house, you have your memories." And that's where most of you are probably right if you're talking about your own family. But I have a very limited number of memories with my uncle and my grandparents because after my mom and dad got divorced, they packed up and they moved up here. I never saw my grandfather again, and I never saw my grandmother again. And my uncle, I only got a few really good years with him, you know, and then I got busy with life. I thought he was doing fine. Now he's dead. He's gone. I'll never get that time back. Anyway, so why not sell the house, right? Sell it to somebody that can fix it up. Sell it to somebody that's going to make it better, somebody that has more money than me. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's really easy for me to do. If they were going to fix this place up and put it back together, if I could genuinely find somebody that had more money that was going to fix this place up and make it beautiful again, I would sell it in a heartbeat, because I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't make that kind of an investment on this property that I don't believe would ever show a return. So here's what's happened. I've been getting letters in the mail about this house, and I kind of thought it was a little bit crazy. In fact, I thought it was downright absurd, the kind of offers I've gotten on this place. And then I figured out why. I have had 2 recent offers on the house, and that's without me even trying to sell it. It's not for sale. I never listed this place up for sale, but yet I keep getting letters in the mail. And it's from developers, local developers out here in Indianapolis, one in Terre Haute. I got an offer of like $45,000 for one, and I thought, it's not a horrible price, actually. And then I got an offer from another one about 2 weeks later. I threw it away. The house is not for sale. I tossed it in the garbage. A couple weeks later, I get a different offer from somebody else. This time they offered me $60,000. And I thought, man, maybe this is my opportunity to let the house go to somebody that can actually afford to fix it. And I'll be able to cash out and have tons of extra money in my pocket. This is a win-win for everybody, because I can't just leave this house sitting here. It's not going to get better. I don't have the money to fix it. So it's time to move on. Well, I talked to the developer, and I'm glad they were honest with me, because they told me why they were offering so much money for this house. If you guys haven't guessed it yet, well, the reason they offered me so much is because they're going to tear it down. Yes, the developers out here are not interested in fixing the house. You know why? Let me tell you why they're not interested in fixing it. Because it's not worth fixing, okay? It's not worth fixing. This house, unfortunately, is not worth saving. So, they want to tear it down. Why do they want this property so bad? Well, this is a corner lot. I don't know how it comes out on camera, but it goes all the way to the alley, and it runs all the way up and all the way to the sidewalk right here. It's a pretty deep and pretty long property. So Terre Haute's in the middle of doing a lot of redevelopment work out here, kind of gentrification, and they're going through a lot of these old, dilapidated neighborhoods, and they're buying up a lot of these old houses. And what they're doing is they're building micro houses. After tearing them down, they will put up tiny homes all up and down here. You'll be looking at, hell, on this lot, you could easily put, 1, 2, 3, 4, easily 4, maybe even 6 if you want to use up the whole lot. I guarantee you could put 6 of these tiny homes out here that they're calling affordable housing. That's why they want it, because that's where the money is. That's where the money is. So now my choice, it's not as easy as it was. It's one thing to sell my family's home and be able to come back up here and see that it's been renovated and, it's bringing a new family joy and happiness, maybe some new kids growing up in this house. I mean, it's a small house. It's only a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, so you're not going to put a bunch of people in this place, but it would be one thing to be able to drive by it every so often and see that it's giving a new family the joy that they deserve, and the new family is taking care of it like it deserves. But it's a whole nother deal when you're talking about tearing down my grandparents' house. Fuck. I don't know what to do. Jessica and I have been talking about it constantly. I even started smoking, and I haven't smoked in years. I am so distraught. I am just so torn up over this, because I know the house is rough. I know it needs a lot of work. I didn't know it was so bad. I did not realize there was $80,000 worth of work that needed to go into this house on top of the 20-some thousand for the roof and the $8,000 windows. I didn't see it. I didn't realize it. But apparently that's where we're at. So my question to you guys is, what do you do? What do you do? It's just a house, right? It's just a house. That's what everybody keeps telling me, is it's just a house, but it's not just a house. I went to college in this house. I went to Ivy Tech out here in Terre Haute, Indiana. I went to Ivy Tech here. My room was in this back corner over here. I had a little computer I did all my computer work on. I worked at a place called Rives Hall Youth Center right down the road here for underprivileged kids. All right, I went to school full time. I worked full time. I helped my uncle as much as I could, and I had 2 children in this house. I taught my daughter to walk in that front room, in that living room. She refused to walk, no matter how hard we tried. She wouldn't walk. So for Christmas one year, I bought her a little push car thing, you know, little handles, little cute little push car. She opened it up for Christmas, and she grabbed hold of those handles, and that girl was terrorizing the house from that moment on. That same little girl's first experience with snow was right here in this front yard. Literally, right here. She had on a little pink jumpsuit with a little hoodie, little hat. She came right out here into the snow, and she fell down for the first time in this snow. Her first experience with snow. My son was born here. I used to bottle feed them, both of them, in that back room back there. You know, so many memories with my uncle. I know that my grandparents, you know, lived here for many, many years and enjoyed this house. For me, it's the only real connection I have to my grandparents because they're long gone and I never got to spend much time with them. And knowing that I'm walking on the same floors that they walked on. You know, we're sitting at the kitchen table in the same area they used to sit at. My grandma inevitably drinking her coffee and smoking her cigarettes. You know, and I can sit down and have my dinners in the same place that my grandparents and my uncle did. Let me tell you something, guys, I'm trying real hard here. I'm trying real hard to hold this shit together, man. This is not just a house. I don't have the memories that a lot of you probably have with your grandparents. So for me, this house is all I have that keeps me connected to the family that's no longer with me. So again, what do? What would you do? My fiance is having a hard time helping me out with this. This is a very personal decision. Do I come off of $80,000? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money. Do I take out a loan? I mean, I could probably, I don't know, take out a loan. The other thing that's kind of frustrating is the guy told me, because I asked him, you know, what are financing options? And I told him that I could come up with, you know, about half down. And he said, oh, yeah, financing, not a problem. He said, I can set you up with the bank that'll handle it. And I was like, well, great. That's great because I have excellent credit. So it's not a problem. You know, I figured what we could do is, you know, I know the interest is going to suck, but we could put it on like a 5-year loan, you know, and I'll just pay it off. And at that rate, even though it's still going to cost a ton of money, at least it wouldn't be so much up front. It wouldn't be such a burden to me initially, such a shock to the system, so to speak. And he said, not a problem. He said, I will get you the bank information later tonight. He said, I'll do you one better. I'll get the bank to get in touch with you and you guys can just go ahead and get this whole thing started. And I said, perfect. Guys, that was 3 days ago. I haven't heard nothing from the bank. Haven't heard anything else from him either. And again, I think what it comes down to is he took a look at the house, probably took a look at me and thought, nah, there's no way, man. No way this guy can afford this. Man, he's partially right. I can't afford it. I do not have $80,000 sitting around right now. Again, I could come up with it. Like I can move some stuff around. I can liquidate quite a few things and I could come up with the money. I do have some savings and we did sell the 57 Chevy. So I mean, I could come up with it, but it's like, what a risk, man. That's a big risk. That's a big risk to take on a property that's never gonna, if I live 30 more years, I don't know that this property would be worth the $120,000 I'd have into it. So that's where I'm stuck. That's where I'm stuck. For once in my life, I don't know what to do when it comes to finances. As much as I want to save this place, I feel like I'm risking putting my family in a really bad position because once I spend all the money on this house, it's gone. And if something bad happens, if something comes up and we don't have the money for it, what am I gonna have to do? Probably sell the house. Man, if I only had, you know, like another $40,000 in the bank, this wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? Actually, it still would. Because like I told you, at the end of the day, it's not even about, even if I could get the financing for it, you still have to really take into consideration, once you finance it, it actually makes it worse. Yes, it's not so much of a shock to the system initially, but it's worse because now you're gonna have interest on top of that. So you're gonna have more than the $110,000 or $115,000 into it. You gotta tack on the interest as well. I'm just not seeing any way of being able to save this house. And that's the only option other than selling it to the investor and letting them tear it down. Those are the choices I'm faced with. Needless to say, my mom's heartbroken over it. I'm heartbroken over it. Jessica's heartbroken over it. I've got a lot of soul searching to do. I've got a lot of thinking to do, because these are our options. I'm either gonna have to go all in on this house and spend everything I've got on it, or they're gonna tear it down. So to answer a question I'm sure a lot of you are gonna come up with, because this is something I thought about too, is why not just renovate half of the house? You know, so it's not so big of a deal. We could do half of it now and half of it later. So the gentleman that came out and did this inspection and went through everything with me told me that the exterior was gonna be 30 grand and the interior was gonna be 50. And I thought, good God, man, like you could, how much does it cost to build a 950 square foot house today? Like, I feel like for 100 grand, you should be able to build a 950 square foot house in this day and age. 80 grand, 80 freaking grand, 30 on the exterior, 50 on the interior. Okay, guess what? I've got the 30. I could do the exterior. We could do the exterior all day for 30. Here's the thing though, is as time keeps going on, inflation, you know, prices keep going, it's not gonna get any cheaper to do the interior, guys. At some point, the interior will have to be done. I'll still have to spend the money and I will still end up upside down on this deal. At the end of the day, this is a very personal decision for me. I'm not sure I've made a decision in recent times that's as big of a deal as this one is. I get there's gonna be a lot of comments saying it's just a house. I already explained to you guys why that's not the case for me, why this house means so much to me, not to mention the amount of money I've already spent just trying to keep it from falling down. You know, the amount of money I've already poured into this place only to turn around and sell it and watch it get bulldozed to the ground. I don't know that I can do that. I don't know that I can do that. And I also don't know that I can just spend $80,000 to fix this house. Not to mention, you know, another important factor here is the $80,000 that I was quoted to fix the house, and the guy didn't even call me back. The guy didn't send me an email. He didn't get me in touch with the bank that we could get the financing where he did nothing. So is this somebody I can really rely on? Is this somebody that I want to trust $80,000 to? A guy that judged me by the way I looked or by the way the condition of the house was? I don't think so. I can continue making some calls, but I'm going to tell you guys, I have already reached out to pretty much everybody that I could find on Google, and it seems to me that nobody's interested in saving this old house. So I guess the decision will be made for me then, because if I can't get any contractors that are even willing to consider taking the job on, there's no point. This has to be figured out, and it has to be figured out now. Before I leave Terre Haute, this has got to get figured out. Either we fix it or it gets demolished. It's got to be figured out, because I cannot leave this house sitting here with no insurance on it. If something happens to the house, if somebody got hurt, anything happens, it's on me. I have to get this house into a condition where it's insurable, or I have to sell it and it has to become somebody else's responsibility. That is the bottom line. And that is what I'm having such a hard time reconciling. I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna let you guys drop your comments below, and maybe you can help me. Tell me what you think I should do. What would you do if you were in my situation? I promise you, one way or another, I'm gonna come back with another video, and I guess the next video on this house, is either going to be I'm out of my mind and I paid to have it renovated, or they're tearing it down. That's it, I guess. We'll come back with a video either way, either demolishing the house or renovating it. And I've had a lot of you ask about the dog. Where is she at? Where is she? There's Sugar. There's Sugar. Where's the other one? Hi, little bear. Hi, little bear. What are you doing? Oh, Fru. Fru. Look, there's Sabra. There's Sabra. Okay, they're pissed off now. Anyway, yes, of course, we still have Sabra. I brought the dogs with us on the road trip up here. I'm gonna get out of here, guys, and I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. If you think there's another way to get out of this, another way to get through it, I am all ears, man. Drop those comments below, and do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. I promise you're not gonna wanna miss the next video because we have some big decisions to make. Till next time, everybody, stay safe out there. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.